Today is March 17, 1992. A historic referendum took place in South Africa. At that time, apartheid had been enforced for decades. Black and non-white citizens had no voting rights. International pressure and internal protests grew stronger. So, on March 17, 1992, a referendum was held. The question was, do you support the government's reforms to end apartheid? The results? 68.7% voted yes. Only 31.3% opposed the reforms. This vote set South Africa on the path to democracy. In 1994, Nelson Mandela became the first black president. Apartheid officially ended. March 17, 1992, changed South African history forever. What do you think about this historic moment? Share your thoughts in the comments. Everything we think, feel, and move. At the core of it all are neurons. Before 1937, scientists believed that the nervous system was a giant connected network. This was called the reticular theory. But Santiago Ramon y Cajal thought differently. He proved that neurons exist as individual cells. Using a microscope and special staining techniques, he identified neurons separately. This became known as the neuron doctrine. Thanks to this discovery, we now understand how the nervous system processes information. It also had a huge impact on neuroscience and artificial intelligence research. The idea that each neuron exists individually changed science forever. March 18, 1937, the discovery of neurons, the first step to understanding the brain. 1279, the Battle of Yamen. The Yuan dynasty versus the Southern Song, the final battle begins. The mighty Yuan navy surrounded the Song forces. The young Emperor Xiaobing resisted bravely. But in the end, loyal minister Lu Xiufu carried the emperor and leaped into the sea. This marked the fall of the Southern Song. And China came under Mongol rule. History belongs not only to the victors but also to those who fought till the end. On March 20, 1602, the world's first joint stock company was born. It was the Dutch East India Company, VOC. VOC monopolized the spice trade and built a vast trade network. It expanded colonies centered around Jakarta, Indonesia, today. It practically operated like an independent nation. VOC was also the first company to issue stocks. This marked the beginning of stock investment. However, greed and corruption led to its decline. Eventually, in 1799, VOC disappeared from history. But its legacy greatly influenced the development of capitalism. On March 21, 1871, Otto von Bismarck was appointed the first chancellor of the German Empire. He had unified Germany through a policy of iron and blood, centered on Prussia. As chancellor, he secured Germany's place in Europe through masterful diplomacy. At home, he opposed socialism, yet introduced social welfare reforms. With one hand he held a strong military, and with the other, strategic diplomacy. Bismarck's Germany was the beginning of a powerful and calculated empire. March 22, 1963, exactly this day. The Beatles released their first album, Please Please Me. This album didn't just become another record, it changed music history. It marked the start of the British invasion that swept the globe. The Beatles became icons who transformed culture and society. They laid the foundations for modern music and fandom culture. One of history's most influential albums was born today. On March 23, 1888, the world's first professional soccer league, England's Football League, kicked off. At that time, clubs faced financial instability due to irregular matches. League founder William McGregor proposed regular competition, overcoming initial struggles like long-distance travel and poor facilities. Thanks to this league, football became professionalized, creating the foundation for today's Premier League and global soccer leagues.